NumPy. ठीक है. So before I start with the entire theory about NumPy and Pandas, मुझे एक छोटा इंट्रोडक्शन देना है कि NumPy and Pandas क्या है. तो NumPy हमारे बेसिकली एरेज के यूजेज के लिए काम आता है, एंड Pandas में हमारे पास दो ऑब्जेक्ट्स रहते हैं. एक रहता है सीरीज और दूसरा रहता है डेटा फ्रेम्स. तो फर्स्ट जो हमारा डेटा फ्रेम्स है, सपोज आपके पास एक एक्सेल का फाइल है और उसमें से तुमको डेटा रीड करना है और फिर उसमें तुमको मैनिपुलेशन करना है, तो तुम कैसे करोगे? उसके लिए हम डेटा फ्रेम्स करके एक ऑब्जेक्ट है पांडास का, वो हम यूज़ करते हैं टू मैनिपुलेट डेटा. सपोज अभी हमारे पास डेटा हमने पूरा रीड कर लिया, बट एक्सेल में कैसे बहुत सारे फाइल्स बहुत सारे कॉलम्स रहते हैं. तो उसमें से सपोज हमको एक ही कॉलम को एक्सेस करना है और एक ही कॉलम पे हम लोगों को मैनिपुलेशन खेलना है. तो जब हम एक कॉलम को सिलेक्ट करते हैं, तब जो ऑब्जेक्ट रहता है उसको बोलते हैं सीरीज ऑब्जेक्ट. ठीक है. सो एवरीवन क्लियर अप टिल दिस पॉइंट? एनीवन हैविंग एनी डाउट कि किसका यूसेज क्या है? ओके, कूल. ठीक है.
So, I've just joined. Could you please repeat?
या सो हम numpy एंड pandas पढ़ रहे हैं. दे आर द पाइथन लाइब्रेरीज. तो numpy जो रहता है वो हमें एरेज के लिए काम आता है. तो इफ़ यू वांट टू डील विद एरेज इज सिमिलर टू लिस्ट एंड टपल्स बट नॉट एग्जैक्टली द सेम. उसका डिफरेंस क्या है वो मैं आपको अभी नीचे बताऊंगा, बट इट इज़ सिमिलर. एरेज जो तुमने लिस्ट टपल्स अभी देखा था, लास्ट कल ही तुमने देखा था, वही. एंड जो डेटा फ्रेम्स है वो तुम्हें एक्सेल फाइल्स या फिर CSV फाइल से तुमको डेटा अगर रीड करना है तो उसमें काम आता है. और अगर तुम्हें डेटा की एक कॉलम को सिलेक्ट करना है तो उसके लिए सीरीज ऑब्जेक्ट काम आता है. ठीक है, कूल.
Sir, could I just suggest something? We are from different parts of the country, so if we could please have it in English, it'll be really nice, or at least 90% because we understand a little bit of Hindi. So if you could do that, it'll be really nice.
ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम. चले,
Thank you.
या
Sorry to interrupt, Himasi, where are you from? I wasn't aware, Maharashtra, people are here from outside.
Sorry, hello.
Where are you from? Like,
I'm from Chennai.
okay, you're the one who's from Christ University, or what?
No.
Achha, which college?
As in like here,
Yeah, which college are you studying from?
SK Somaya.
Achha, you're in somewhere. Okay, cool.
Alright, thank you.
ओके.
Yeah, I'm also from out of the country.
Wow, that's nice. So yeah, now let's begin with NumPy. So till this time you have learned about lists and tuples. So now you might be thinking, why I have to learn NumPy? Arrays ही तो है. Why do we need NumPy when we already have lists and tuples? So the basic reason उसके पीछे is that the lists and tuples are Python native data structures, and Python inherently is very slow. Python is slow because it is an interpreted language. Interpreted language is a language in which one single line is executed one at a time. So it is read, it's compiled, and then it's executed. While in C language, it's faster. Why is it faster? Because the C language, the entire code is compiled at once and an object file is created, and that object file is directly executed. So that object file is more near to the machine level codes, and that's why it gets executed faster. And that's why C and C++ are the languages that actually give you the speed. But Python is like a good wrapper over all those languages. So all the NumPy and Pandas that we are going to use, they are standard libraries that are written behind in C language, because C is very fast and Python is inherently very slow. I would like to give you a small example. You might be thinking, how can I prove this? Whatever I'm saying, how can I prove this? I'm taking a basic example. Okay. So this is a speed test. Okay. So I'm going to iterate over a loop. say these many times. This is a big number, so I'm going to iterate over the loop. So basically I've created a C file, and uh-oh, I've created a C file, and I'm going to run that file. All right, so it takes 0.94 seconds to run this. Now the same thing, if I'm going to run it in Python, it's going to take almost 15 to 20 seconds to run this. So this is just a small loop. Can you understand? It's just a small loop. When you deal with data sets which has millions of entries and thousands of columns, Python is going to be very, very slow. See, you can even see this. These many times it is just iterating. It's just iterating. It's not doing anything. It's just iterating. But can you understand? It's the same for loop. You might be thinking that it's the same for loop, but Python is a very mature language in the sense that it has been built over many standard libraries, due to which it has its own garbage collector, and it has many processes running behind which we don't know. So because of that, it is more memory intensive. It is slow, and that's why in the NumPy and Pandas they are implemented using C. Now you might be thinking, if it is memory intensive and it's slow, then why do we even use it? It's used because it gives us a good wrapper. The dynamic nature, you might have learned it yesterday, dynamic nature of Python, we don't actually define any data types. If you go and see, you might be seeing that int I. So you are basically defining a data type. So when you define a data type, there's no dynamism. Python gives you that dynamism, and that dynamism it is at a cost, and that cost is higher memory consumption and slower speeds. So in data science, we deal with so many different types of columns, and those columns are of different data types. So that is why it's good to have dynamism, and that's why Python has flourished so much, and basically it has found its place in data science because of this reason. It is not created from a programmer perspective, it is created from a data science perspective, so that it can allow you to explore the data easily. Okay, so that is the basic funda. Basically, why do we need NumPy, and why do we need Pandas and all that, and why we have not used the inbuilt data structures of Python. All right, any doubt up till this point anyone has?
No.
Okay, no doubts, I'll continue ahead. So I don't like to read what is already there on the slide. I think these collab notebooks are shared with you, so please go through the whatever is written. I'll give you 30 seconds. You can go through this. And now I'll explain you the difference between array and the lists. What is the actual difference between them inside? Read this, and I'll explain you.
We just have to read this slide, right?
Yeah, just read this much. How much you can see on the screen? Just read it. Give you 10 seconds more. Okay, cool. I'm going ahead now. So yeah, the difference between the arrays and the lists. So in C or C++ or any of those low-level languages, when we create an array, the contiguous memory locations are allotted to it. Say I want to store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in an array. Okay, then 1 will be stored here, 2 will be stored here, 3 will be stored here, and so on. So contiguous memory locations. Contiguous means consecutive memory locations. This is our memory. So consecutive memory locations are going to be allotted for each number in C and C++ types of languages. And this is the concept of arrays. And when we have the list data structure, what the list data structure does is, inside the list, it actually stores the address, the memory address of where say 34 is stored. So we have the numbers 34, 56, 12, etc. So in Python lists, we don't actually store the number 34. We store the address of the number 34. So basically it's called reference. We store a reference to the number. it's not actually a number, it's an object in Python, but okay. So it's storing a reference. So now if I have say 1,000 entries in a list, all right, so if I have to read it from an array, in array, if I know the first location, I can go 1,000 times ahead and my job is done. It's done. I just have to know the first location and then I'm done. So that's why contiguous memory locations are very faster compared to the lists, because in lists now first I have to go to this first element and I'll open that element, I'll see, oh, this is the address, then I go to that address, and then fetch it from the memory. So that takes time. And people who know more about say microprocessors, someone from diploma or stuff, they might be knowing that, man, it's not easy to just for the CPU to just go and take the data from the memory. It also takes time. The CPU works at nanoseconds. In memory, operations take good milliseconds. So yeah, it is for a CPU it's a lifetime. So that's why the operations on the uh, uh, Python inbuilt data structure is very slow. All right. I hope you guys understand this. And one more small thing that I would want to say is, in Python, everything is an object. So integer itself is also an object, and that's why it takes more memory, and it's an object. So obviously, computation time is more. As compared to in C language, the integers are basically primitive data types. So primitive data types are more closer to the computer, and therefore it's easy to compute them, and they are faster and they take lesser space. And that's why we use NumPy and Pandas, because they are uh, internally implemented in C and C++. Okay. So this is the basic difference that I wanted to tell you about the referencing and the contiguous memory thing. I hope you guys understood it. Anyone having any doubt till this point? Everyone's understanding, right? It's not going over the head. I'm just trying to make it as basic as possible.
So primitive data types takes less space, right?
Yes, yes, it takes lesser space. And primitive data types can be found in languages like C and Java, but in Python, everything is an object. So it's going to take more space.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll go ahead. No, no, no. Today, what I'm going to tell you has nothing to do with lists, has nothing to do with tuples. It's completely independent of yesterday's lecture. You just have to know basic, very, very basic Python syntax. Simple. You don't have to know slicing, you don't have to know dictionaries like at that extent. It's basic, it's very basic. You're going to do it nicely. Don't be under the impression that मैं कल का lecture नहीं बैठा तो मेरे को नहीं समझ में आएगा आज कुछ. It's not like that. It's very basic. No, no, we don't use C coding at all. I was just giving an example to make you guys understand that C is very faster as compared to Python. ऐसे.
तो भैया
So
आप
does
ये
that
कहना
mean so does that mean NumPy is somewhat integrated with C++ or something?
Yeah, everything, all that, if you open the code of NumPy and Pandas, they are written in C and C++ in the back. You can, I think it's an open source, so you can go in their GitHub repositories and check their commits. And in every GitHub repository, you can see that how much percentage it is Python, how much percent it is C, C++. You can
Okay.
go there and see it's mostly in C and C++, because that's what is going to give it speed.
Hmm.
Yeah, memory allocations in lists is random. That is right. So if we see here, so this is not going to be contiguous. 34 object might be stored here, 56 might be stored here, 12 might be stored here. It can be stored anywhere. Can you understand how much time it's going to take? It's very time consuming, and that's why C and C++ is preferred in the backend.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I discussed the difference between NumPy and Python lists right now only. NumPy is contiguous memory locations and Python lists stores references, so they are not contiguous and that's why they are slower. Okay. Anyone has any more doubts?
It's written that NumPy is a library. What are libraries? I don't know.
Libraries, uh, it is like a standard thing. Suppose you want to do something as simple as addition of two numbers, okay, but you don't want to know how it is done, so you can someone else has created a library called as add, okay, and it will take two numbers, it will add them and it will return the result. And you what you have to do is just you have to call the function and just print the result that was returned by the function. Simple.
So
That is a
basically, हाँ,
library. Very basic definition of library. Why we need a library?
library,
Basically,
हाँ,
yeah,
मैं बोलूँ आदित्य,
yeah, yes,
हाँ, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि that's what आदित्य is saying कि लाइब्रेरी बेसिकली अगर इन डेप्थ नहीं समझाना है, बेसिकली बोलना है तो किसी और ने कोड लिखा हुआ है, you're just using that code using some commands. बेसिकली वही है कि मतलब किसी और ने कोड लिख के रखा है और पब्लिक कर दिया है कि तुम मेरा ये कोड इस ये कीबोर्ड से तुम यूज कर सकते हो अपने कोड में फॉर सर्टेन यूज केसेस. तो दैट्स व्हाट लाइब्रेरीज आर इन जनरल. और वैसे ही बहुत मिल बाई थाउजेंड्स ऑफ लाइब्रेरीज हैं फॉर पाइथन. सॉरी आदित्य साहब बीच में बोलने में.
yes. नहीं, it's nice. इसीलिए तो पाइथन इतना फेमस है ना. पाइथन इतना फेमस क्यों है? इट्स बिकॉज इट हैज सो मेनी स्टैंडर्ड लाइब्रेरीज. डेटा साइंस के लिए तुम कोई जावा वापरेगा क्या? पूछो किसी को, जावा वापरते हो डेटा साइंस के लिए? सी वापरते हो? पीछे सब सी यूज होता है, बट सी कोई वापरता नहीं है क्योंकि सी तेरे को डायनामिज्म नहीं देगा. तेरे को डायनामिज्म पाइथन ही देगा. इसके लिए सब पाइथन इज लाइक अ रैपर. जो
मतलब तो फिर सी की स्पीड और बाकी सब बेटर है, बट पाइथन का लाइक ऐसे यूज करने में वो बेटर है, इसलिए हम पाइथन में सी यूज करते हैं.
यस यस. तुम पाइथन का ऊपर से कॉल मारते हो, फंक्शन कॉल, पीछे भले सब सी में होता है, यू डोंट केयर ना पीछे सी में हो रहा है कि पाइथन में हो रहा है, तेरा काम हो रहा है ना. सिंपल. वैसे इट्स लाइक दैट. ओके. एनी मोर डाउट्स? कूल. चलो, so I'll start ahead part of it. So anyone knows the difference between list and tuples? Just a fun question, I'm just asking like that, not related.
लिस्ट म्यूटेबल होता है, ट्यूपल नहीं होता,
Yeah,
इम्यूटेबल है आई थिंक.
yes, that is the core difference between them. Good, nice. I'm happy to see that. Cool. Okay, so now we'll start with NumPy. NumPy में we'll start basic. If you are working on an IDE, तुम्हारे लोकल मशीन पे अगर तुम काम कर रहे हो, so what you can do is simply go to your terminal and type pip install numpy, तो ऑटोमेटिक numpy डाउनलोड कर लेगा. ठीक है.
यो जोगिंदर, थारा भाई जोगिंदर इन खेतों में इतना हक देगा छुप छुप के.
Okay, so we can print the NumPy version also. If in case you are using Colab, it might show you this, and you can do pip install NumPy in case you are using a local IDE. Okay, and next whatever we are going to discuss is going to be the operations that we can do on the NumPy and Pandas. I hope everybody got a good. I think we should remove this guy. I mean, it's making no
Yeah,
sense.
I removed him and please ensure तुम लोग ये सब नहीं करो क्योंकि मेरे पास पूरा सोमाया मेल है और तुम लोग के प्रिंसिपल मेरे को जानते हैं. तो मस्ती प्लीज डोंट. ओके कूल.
Cool. Yeah, you can go and type pip install numpy. Go to your terminal.
पिप इंस्टॉल नम, इससे numpy डाउनलोड होगा क्या?
Yes, उससे numpy डाउनलोड होगा. तेरा पाइथन ऑलरेडी है ना? पाइथन ऑलरेडी होना चाहिए उसके लिए. आई होप अगर तेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि सपोज नहीं हो रहा है इंस्टॉल नंपाई, अगर से नहीं हो पा रहा है तो सीधा कोलैब पे जा, एक नया फटाफट एक गूगल नोटबुक बना और देख ले, वरना जो नोटबुक है उसमें से ही देख ले। उसमें गूगल कोलैब का यही फ़ायदा है कि उसमें मोस्ट ऑफ द लाइब्रेरी सब पहले से इंपोर्टेड रहती है, तो तुमको मेहनत नहीं करना है सबको इंस्टॉल करने में और वो सब करने में। ओके
Okay.
या तो अभी हम लोग जो डिस्कस करने वाले हैं वो सब ऑपरेशंस डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। तो व्हाट वी कैन डू इज वी कैन गो एंड see the table of contents. So we have created a table of content for every notebook. So numpy 1, numpy 2 and pandas 1. I've created 3 files, and in each file I have structured it in a way that you guys can go and look at the structure of it. Basically it's like a book, तो उसका index कैसे रहता है, it's like that. So you can go and go through it basically. So similarly, in the NumPy 2, I've created this so that you guys understand what is happening and you get a overall gist of it, of whatever we are going to do. All right. So if you are using VS Code, you can use Outline. I'll just show you. Yes, this is what is there. So in Outline, if you're using a Jupyter notebook, it will show you in the exact same format like this. If you're using VS Code, just in case. Okay.
Yeah, I'm using VS Code.
Cool. Cool. So yeah, moving ahead now. We'll learn how to create. If we already have a Python list, then how can we create a NumPy array from it? So simple, we know how to create a Python list, and then we do np.array Python list, and it creates a NumPy array for us, and we can print that NumPy array. So basically, how do you if someone has printed a Python list or NumPy array, how do you differentiate between them? I differentiate it like this. You just see the comma. You don't see a comma in NumPy array, but in Python list you see a comma. That's how I differentiate between both of them. And since Python is dynamic and it has no data types, that's why we can use the type function to tell us what type of object it is. So yes, it is
साले इतने
a NumPy array.
छोटे मारूंगा, इतने छोटे.
Shit. No problem. So yeah, it's the NumPy array, and it's the type of the NumPy array that we can print here. And now let's go ahead. One subtle difference between the lists and the NumPy arrays is that in lists we can store any kind of data. We can store basically heterogeneous data, and in NumPy arrays we store only homogeneous data. So what is heterogeneous? What is homogeneous? Heterogeneous means different data types, and homogeneous means only one single data type. So if you see, this is a valid Python list. If you see this is a valid Python list. It contains an integer, it contains a string, it contains a boolean, it contains a float, and all of them are different data types, but they can be inside the list simultaneously. Now, can you tell me why? Anyone, please. I just explained the
They are
difference
objects.
between. Yeah. Anyone?
What was your question? I didn't understand भैया, वापस बोलो ना एक बार.
इन लिस्ट्स हम लोग अलग अलग डेटा टाइप यूज कर सकते हैं. ऐसा हम क्यों कर सकते हैं? हम लोग NumPy array में ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. ऐसा क्यों नहीं
Because
कर
they are all objects है सारे, अलग अलग objects.
ऑब्जेक्ट्स तो है, ठीक है, बट रीजन क्या है उसके पीछे?
Can we say that a list only stores addresses of all the objects, so we can store any object in a list?
Yes,
Such a
right.
stupid doofy ass. Oh my god.
It stores an address, and that's why you can store heterogeneous data type. And in NumPy arrays, we actually use contiguous memory locations, and that is why in NumPy arrays we store only homogeneous data. We cannot store heterogeneous data. But now we are humans. We try to defy the rules, and we'll try to make a NumPy array from a Python list which is containing heterogeneous data. Let's try to do that. That's also a fun thing to do. And when we do that,
NumPy array, we can just store Boolean or other types also.
in NumPy array, we can store only one data type.
One
NumPy,
data type at a time.
yeah, in one NumPy array, you will contain data which is of only one type. So you can either store strings or you can store integers like that.
एक
Oh,
मिनट थोड़ा confusion है. You
Okay.
you said that we can store different data like different data types na in NumPy like the.
No, in lists, not in NumPy array.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
क्योंकि लिस्ट में वी यूज एड्रेसिंग ना, ये देख, इन लिस्ट्स वी यूज दिस एड्रेसिंग ना. So this contains the address. Now this can be the address of an integer, it can be address of a boolean, it can be address of anything. That's how it gives us that privilege to have heterogeneous data inside it, no? And in
Okay,
NumPy
okay.
arrays we have contiguous memory locations. So for that it's a heterogeneous data. एक इंटीजर है, उसको 2 ब्लॉक मिलेगा तो 2 ही ब्लॉक मिलेगा, फिर 4 ब्लॉक नहीं है उसके लिए वैसे. बिकॉज अगर
Got it.
तुमको जस्ट गोइंग इन लिटिल डेप्थ, अगर तुमको एक इंटीजर से दूसरे इंटीजर में जाना है तो तुमको पता होना चाहिए कि तुमको कितने ब्लॉक्स आगे जाना है. सपोज 2 ब्लॉक है पर इंटीजर, तो तुमको यहाँ से फिर यहाँ जाना है ना. तो फॉर नोइंग दैट बेसिकली you have to know the size of an integer and that has to be constant. That's why it's suppose only heterogeneous data. पीछे सब सी में है, हमको पाइथन का रैपर दिखता है, पीछे सब सी में है, so we have to go by the rules वैसे. So yeah, and then we can print the data type of the NumPy array. It's giving us the U32. It's kind of a Unicode representation for strings. Okay, and then we can confirm that we got a NumPy array by type using the type function. And yes, if we use this on a Python list, what did it do? It converted all of them into a string. Okay, so yeah, our smartness did not come into play here. We could not fool it. And yeah, and now if we try to, now if you want to change some particular element in an array, we can use this indexing. This is the same as in the lists, exactly the same. Okay, NumPy array ka 1th element indexing starts from 0. So we have created this. So this is the 0th element and this is the 1th element. So now we are saying the NumPy array ka 1th element is 500. Now you see it's so smart, it will put 500 as a string and not as an integer. Why? Because it has to keep the homogeneous data types for all of them. But if we wish to put a 500 integer, we can create a new NumPy array and then we can change it to 500 and it will be reflected accordingly. Okay. Cool. Anyone having any doubt up till this point?
what if we
ये
don't
वाला
code?
बिल्कुल नहीं समझा.
क्या हो गया?
ये वाला बिल्कुल ही नहीं समझा मैंने.
हाँ
क्या
भैया, इसमें थोड़ा
क्या हुआ?
डाउट आ रहा है.
किसमें?
यहाँ पे क्या हुआ यानी जो हमने एनपी एरे डिफाइन किया था,
हाँ.
उसके बाद रन किया है, तो वो हुआ क्या है नीचे में, वो जो रन करके आया रिजल्ट,
ये वाला
वेट
result,
करना. हाँ
ये वाला रिजल्ट.
हाँ
हाँ
हाँ,
तो
नहीं
इसमें,
पूरा ही रिजल्ट.
हाँ तो इसमें ये जो है, इसमें हम लोगों ने क्या किया, हमने चालाकी की. हमने सोचा कि भले NumPy array बोलता है कि हम हेट्रोजीनियस डेटा स्टोर, होमोजीनियस डेटा स्टोर कर सकते हैं, हमने सोचा कि चल हेट्रोजीनियस ट्राई करते हैं. तो हम ट्राई करने गए, हमने अलग अलग डेटा टाइप का एक लिस्ट बनाया और फिर ट्राई कन्वर्ट करने का ट्राई किया उसको NumPy array में. तो NumPy ने क्या किया, उसको सबको एक स्ट्रिंग डेटा टाइप में डाल दिया. समझा? हेलो.
अच्छा हाँ ओके.
या वैसे किया. फिर हमने उसका डी टाइप, मतलब उसका हमने एक टाइप प्रिंट किया, बेसिकली डेटा टाइप ऑफ द एलिमेंट इन द NumPy
ये
array.
एक तरीके से इन्वर्टेड कॉमास आ गए स्ट्रिंग्स में.
क्या? आई एम सॉरी, आई डिडंट गेट यू.
In the NumPy array containing strings, ये सब में इन्वर्टेड कॉमास आ गए है ना ऊपर.
हाँ, इन्वर्टेड कॉमास आए हैं वो हमें दिख रहा है, बट पीछे उसने उसको वन जो एक्चुअली हमने इंटीजर पास किया था, उसने उसको इंटीजर की तरह स्टोर नहीं किया. इट इज बीन स्टोर्ड एज अ स्ट्रिंग.
एज एन ऑब्जेक्ट.
हाँ, इट इज बीन, एवरीथिंग इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट इन पाइथन. It is being stored as a string object and not as an integer object.
Okay.
वैसे this is being stored as a true, as a string object. It is not a boolean object. This is a string object. It is not a float object. वैसे
जी हाँ लेनी स्ट्रीम जी हाँ लेनी स्ट्रीम मुकुंद
मुझे डाउट था एक
या
सो आप वापस इसमें जा सकते हो क्या वो स्लाइड पे
या
हाँ सो अभी जो नीचे रिजल्ट आया है कि एवरी सिंगल व्हाटएवर मतलब अभी 1 पाइथन ट्रू 5.5 जो भी है सब कुछ स्ट्रिंग में आया है ना मतलब
यस हाँ
सो मैंने समझा नहीं वो स्ट्रिंग में क्यों आया है इजंट यू नो इन द अपर वो ट्रू है ना एक बूलियन है और एक इंट है एक फ्लोट है तो ऐसा क्यों
वो numpy वैसे चलता है. It's something you have to
अच्छा
accept.
it just stores it as a string
Yeah, it stores it as a string. वैसे वो चलता है. That's how it works.
okay ठीक है
Okay. Cool. मैं आगे बढ़ सकता
हमने इधर लाइक कैसा लिखा है कि हमको numpy एरे पे डेटा टाइप और वैसा चाहिए, तो फिर हमको फिर ये प्रिंट में क्यों ऐसा डेटा टाइप आ नहीं रहा सही से?
किस में? प्रिंट ये लाइन में कि ये लाइन में? Which line?
मैं दोनों लाइन में पूछ रहा हूँ कि दोनों में हमको ऐसा नॉर्मल डेटा टाइप आना चाहिए ना, बट ये ऐसा क्यों आ रहा है थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड चीज?
कॉम्प्लिकेटेड इसीलिए आ रहा है क्योंकि वो खुद भी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. वो एक क्लास है. तुमने ओओपी थोड़ा पढ़ा है? ओओपी बजा बेसिक क्या है?
नहीं भैया, थोड़ा लाइक बेसिक्स ही पढ़ा है पाइथन का तो.
हाँ, तो वो एक ओओपी करके कॉन्सेप्ट रहता है. उसमें क्लास और ऑब्जेक्ट करके कॉन्सेप्ट रहता है. तो numpy not nd array is a class. उसका हम ऑब्जेक्ट बनाते हैं. So it's a little complicated. At your level, I will recommend not go into depth of it. तुमको numpy.nd array दिख रहा है वो देख के खुश हो जाओ. अगर तुमको अभी नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर में आई थिंक पाइथन रहेगा तो तुमको थोड़ा उसमें ओओपी आएगा. So you'll get an acquaintance what classes and objects are, and then you will be able to understand what is this. Okay.
सर क्लासेस के बारे में डाउट था एक
Yes.
कि क्लासेस में हम बेसिकली ऑब्जेक्ट्स वगैरह बनाते हैं,
हाँ,
लेकिन
class-
आपने बोला कि पाइथन खुद ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनाता है वेरिएबल के नाम पे, तो फिर लाइक क्लासेस की ज़रूरत ही क्या है, क्योंकि पाइथन खुद भी तो ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनाता है.
classes can be user defined also, no? You can define your own class. That's why we create a class. NumPy array, was it made along with Python? No, it was created in 2005. मैंने first slide में था ना. It was not created when Python was created. So it's a library and it's a user defined class technically. We now use it as a predefined class because we are the end users of it. But who was the creator of it? For him, it was a user defined class.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll move ahead now. So yeah, I did the updating of the elements in the NumPy arrays. Okay, so now if you want to add new elements, dot append which was there in the list, we can use it for the NumPy arrays too, dot append function. So, and yeah, one thing that I would like to tell you about the append function is when we use np.append and the NumPy array comma 600, it actually does not append the 600 in the NumPy array. It returns a new NumPy array with 600 inserted in it. So when you do this, and when you print the NumPy array, the original one, it doesn't contain 600, but the NumPy array 2, it contains the 600. I hope you guys understand why this happened. It did not alter
भैया
the
एक और
origin.
बार बताओ ना कि 600 पहले में क्यों नहीं हुआ?
It is the way how the append function works. It doesn't append the 600 or the any element inside the array that is specified here. It just appends it along with the array and returns a new array. It doesn't append in the original NumPy array. So the NumPy array 2 is going to contain 600. The NumPy array is not going to contain 600.
Okay.
Okay.
So every time we append, we have to define a new array, NumPy array.
Yes. Yes. What you can do is this, if you want. if you want, you can do this. So it will automatically rewrite it. It will rewrite on the original one.
Okay.
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 भैया
I have a doubt in the previous part.
Yeah. Which part?
So, can you scroll up?
Yeah.
Like where that you had one and Python and true and that
Yeah.
random decimal
Yeah.
number. So over there, I tried rewrite converting that list into NumPy array without the Python and as a string,
Yeah.
and it converted everything into like I think decimal or something like that. And it converted one in true into one. So why did that happen?
So, firstly, I did this for experimentation purpose. This is not actually done in the real world. We don't play with data like this. I just did it to show you that it's not going to work your way. So basically, what if you put heterogeneous data and if you try to work out with it, it's going to be meaningless. Firstly, but good, you explored it. Nice. Frankly speaking, I don't know how it does the allocation of two or one, or basically how it does it behind, I don't know. But I just know that it cannot take heterogeneous data, and it's illegal to take heterogeneous data. That's what I know, and that I just showed it with an example that if we take heterogeneous data, then it's not going to work out in the way that we thought it wants to be. Okay.
Yeah, it sort of distorted the entire list.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
भैया एक डाउट है
हाँ.
जिसमें आपने दिखाया द numpy array one द append one इन दैट अगर
हाँ.
मैंने एक नया अरे असाइन ही नहीं किया कोई अरे असाइन नहीं किया आई जस्ट रोट np डॉट append एंड द अरे एंड एडेड द एलिमेंट तो क्या
Okay.
एरर आएगा
नहीं, वो ये क्या कर रहा है, ये np डॉट अपेंड करके तुमको एरर, एक एरे रिटर्न कर रहा है. ठीक है, सपोज हम लोग ऐसे करते हैं, इसको निकालते हैं. ठीक है, आई एम जस्ट मॉडिफाइंग इट, और हमने इसको बोला रन ऑल, तो ये 600 दे रहा है. क्योंकि ये क्या कर रहा है, ये ओरिजिनल नंपाई एरे में 600 अपेंड करके हमको नया नंपाई एरे दे रहा है, और वो हम सीधा यहाँ पे प्रिंट कर रहे हैं. बट सपोज मैंने ये कर दिया और उसके बाद मैंने बोला x इक्वल टू 100, सपोज आई डिड सम रैंडम थिंग बेसिकली, एंड देन आई सेड आई वांट टू प्रिंट द नंपाई एरे. तू मुझे बता, तेरे को क्या लगता है क्या होना चाहिए?
पहले तो numpy array दिखाएगा वो x एज अ वैल्यू स्टोर करेगा 100 हमने असाइन किया है तो वो स्टोर करेगा एंड देन वो numpy array प्रिंट करेगा उसमें 600 शायद नहीं आएगा शायद आई डोंट नो.
यस, 600 नहीं आएगा. राइट, दैट्स ट्रू. 600 नहीं आएगा. नहीं. कूल.
ओके.
यस.
किसी ने पूछा था कि वो ट्रू को 1 क्यों कर रहा है, फॉल्स को 0 क्यों कर रहा है, क्योंकि लाइक वो बेसिकली लाइक ट्रू एंड फॉल्स आर आल्सो वंस एंड जीरोस इन टर्म्स ऑफ बिट्स. मैंने एक्चुअल लाइक प्रॉपर आंसर लाइक जो है बना था, बिकॉज़ दैट विल एक्सप्लेन दैट. ठीक है.
अच्छा, okay, that answers it. Yeah. It's called the truth value, na शायद. Truth value of true is 1 and truth value of false is 0. Something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
ये जो numpy array में specified है, for example 600 तो वो नहीं आएगा, लेकिन numpy array 2 और 3 में आएगा.
हाँ, मैं numpy 3 पे आता हूँ. सो numpy array 2 में हम लोगों ने 600 डाला, एंड देन उसके बाद एक नया फंक्शन लेता है इंसर्ट. वो भी हमने लिस्ट में जो किया था उसके जैसा ही है. इट्स द सेम लाइक दैट. सो in that, if we say we want to insert 700 on the 2th position of the numpy array, then what is the 2th position? This is 0th position, this is 1th position. Now on this position I need 700. So if we do np dot insert, and then we will get a numpy array 3, and that will contain 700. Similar to append, the insert function also will not change the original array. It is going to,
Excuse me, screen sharing has been turned off.
वो बिकॉज किसी और ने कर दिया था. वो वेदांत लाइक स्क्रीन शेयर बंद करके ऑन कर देना.
हाँ. yes. Weird. One second. Why is it not allowing the entire screen? A window. Okay. Okay. It's अभी सबको मेरा स्क्रीन दिख रहा है?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
ठीक है. This was a NumPy array 3. This was the insert function. I hope all you guys understood up till this point. So now we'll go to the NumPy array 2, NumPy array 2 file. Okay, we have a lot to cover, so I'll get a bit of more momentum now. So please help me in covering up things. So again, we're gonna import in this line, and then we're gonna explore the different attributes of NumPy array. So we are gonna create a NumPy array first. Okay, and then there are different attributes of
Okay.
each NumPy array. So
Okay.
there is a size attribute,
Okay.
and there's a size attribute, and then there is a endim attribute, and there's a shape
Okay.
attribute. So the
Okay. Okay.
size attribute is going to give you the number of
Okay.
elements
Okay.
in a
Okay.
array. भाई इसको निकाल यार, क्या है ये साला?
Okay. Thank you.
ठीक है. So the dot size is going to give you the number of elements in the array. The dot endim is going to give you the dimension of the array. So here we have created a 1D array. So yes, we are getting 1 here. And after that, there is the shape, that's an attribute of the array. So numpy array dot shape is going to give you the number of items in each dimension of the array. So here we have only one dimension, and it contains
Okay.
only
Okay.
4 items. So it's like this here. Okay. So
भाई
then
एक बार
next,
चैट देख लीजिए ना बाद में.
Guys, we will not be taking anyone in अभी, admit किसी को भी नहीं करेंगे. So please don't leave the meeting. ये जो भी आ रहा है ये वापस वही कर रहा है. So we are not admitting anyone more for the meeting.
Just ask
Would you
them,
please
why don't-
repeat the earlier one? Because of the disturbance, I couldn't understand anything.
भैया एक बार चैट देख लो ना तो फिर.
yes, yes. कि हम लोग को notes तो ना बनने. हाँ.
वेद म्यूट हो गया तो.
भैया आप म्यूट हो गए हो.
Okay. Yeah. I'll ask our tech head and he'll do the needful. All the notebooks I think are done. So yeah, should not be a problem.
Yeah, I had another doubt. What is the dimension of an array?
Yeah. One sec. Why can't I share the screen? Yeah. 1 second. Just give me.
रुक अभी I was just changing the setting. That's why तेरे को मैंने host बनाया तो तू शायद अभी screen share कर पाएगा. Can you?
दिख रहा है screen?
Yeah, भैया.
यस दिख रहा है भैया.
Okay. हाँ. क्या पूछ रहा था?
What is a dimension in an array?
Dimension. तो suppose एक matrix जैसा matrix सीखा है ना तूने? Matrix you have learned, right?
हाँ.
Matrix is how many dimensions when we create generally? 2 dimensions, right? Yeah. So that is basically dimension. You are going along a straight line, that is 1 dimension. You are going along a xy plane, that's a 2 dimension. You are going around a 3D plane, that's 3 dimension. Like that.
Acha, okay.
Yeah. I'll show you the 2D and 3D array also, so you'll get a gist of what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now we'll create a 2D array. So in 2D arrays, basically we use 2 such brackets. Okay. In 2D arrays. So we are creating one array of 1, 2, 3, and then we are creating another array of 4, 5, 6, and then we are putting those 2 arrays inside one array. Okay. That's a 2D array. That is one array, and that's a 2D array. So the size is 6 because the number of elements inside the entire 2D array is 6. The number of dimensions is 2 because it's a 2D array, and its shape is 2, 3. 2, 3 is basically the number of rows, the number of columns. So if you print the NumPy array, you can see it like this. So basically we have 2 rows like this, and we have 3 columns. 1, 2, and 3 columns. Okay. That's for the 2D array. And now if you want to access some element of 2D array, we use this type of indexing. So 0th row and 2th column. So 0th row is this, and 2th column is this is 0th column, 1th column, and 2th column. So 0th row and 2th column. So basically we are going to get 3. All right. So that's how we access the elements in 2D array. And
So
now
we
भैया
basically
ऊपर का
yeah,
you can talk.
शेप्स नहीं समझा मुझे.
shape. Oh, sorry. Shape is basically going to
वो
give
2
you,
rows and 3 columns.
yeah,
वो वाला.
3 columns. वो तुझे shape दे रहा है. It's 2 rows and 3 columns.
ओके, वो नंबर ऑफ डायमेंशंस वो कैसे पता लगेगा?
वो पता लगा था खुद से. वो तू देख.
वो जितने एरेज होते हैं वैसा ही डायमेंशन होता है क्या?
नहीं, जितना arrays उतना dimension नहीं. It's see, we have created this 1 2 3 array, and then we have created another 4 5 6 array, and then वो दोनों arrays को we have put inside a single array.
Okay.
It's like that. Basically, if you want to write 6 numbers, then you are writing it like this basically. Got it?
इसका यूज कहाँ पे होता है?
सॉरी,
इसका यूज कहाँ करते हैं हम?
ये हम देखेंगे आगे के बहुत सारे जुपिटर नोटबुक्स में. अभी हम ईडीए करेंगे, फिर हम डेटा क्लीनिंग करेंगे, वो सब में बहुत यूज होता है इसका. यू विल सी इट इन द फ्यूचर. थोड़ा धैर्य रखो.
आई हैव अ डाउट.
या
वो ऊपर मतलब डिफरेंट साइज के भी एरेज हो सकते हैं ना? मतलब एक में 3, एक में 4 ऐसे?
नहीं, आई डोंट थिंक सो. नो, यू कैन नॉट डू दैट.
ओके.
सी, लेट्स क्रिएट वन. ठीक है. I think it is going to scream. It is going to tell you not allowed. Oh, it did not. But if you see, creating an ND array from rag nested sequences, which is a list of tuple ND arrays with different lengths, it is deprecated. Can you see this? Deprecated matlab it is not recommended. It is discouraged, highly discouraged that you use such kind of NumPy arrays. It's highly discouraged to use such kind of NumPy arrays. Okay. Although you can do it, but it's not a good idea to do it. It's not a good idea. Okay. करने के लिए बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं, but should make sense also, right? Yeah. So we then access the I showed you how to access the elements of the 2D array, and then showing the index. Yeah, if you want to iterate over each row of a 2D array, then you can use something called as enumerate. It's also a standard function which you can use. So basically we had 2 rows, right? 1 2 3 and 4 5 6. So we can iterate over the rows. Okay, it's an enumerate function which allows us to iterate over the rows of the array. And then we go on to the 3D arrays. In 3D arrays, you can see there are 3 such blocks, 3 such opening blocks. So it's telling you that it's a 3D array. So now till this point we understood what is a 2D array. Now we are going to take 2 2D arrays in one array, and that is going to be our 3D array. Okay. So if I've just created a sample 3D array here containing 24 elements. So yeah, if you do dot size, you can see that there are 24 elements in the array. The dimensions is 3. It's a 3-dimensional array. And now when you do dot shape, it's giving you 2 3 4. So the 3 4 part is easy. We have 3 rows. You see, basically just look at this part. Okay, just look at this part. In this part is basically a 2D array. You all agree with me? This is a 2D array. In this 2D array, we have 3 rows and 4 columns. Now if we say that we want 2 such, so this 2 means that we have 3 rows and 4 columns, and then we have 2 such 3 rows and 4 columns, and then we have put them inside a single array, and that is our 3D array, which is starting here and ending here. This is our 3D array, which consists of two 2D arrays. This is the first 2D array and this is the second 2D array. Okay, cool. Anyone having doubt?
No.
Okay. So now I was like just writing this, but who has so much time to write all this? You guys have like a lot of important things to do in life. So yes, you can use the standard functions. The arange function is one of the standard functions which help you to create NumPy arrays directly. So if I want to create 0 to 23 directly, then you can use the arange function. And then there's a linspace function. So if you want evenly spaced numbers over a specified interval, so if I want to say that my number should start from 0, it should end at 100, and I want such 5 numbers, so it is going to give us this. It starts from 0, 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. So these are 5 numbers which starts from 0, ends at 100, and they are evenly spaced. So that is the use case of linspace. All right, I'm just going through it faster, but I hope you guys are understanding. Don't focus on the syntax now. Syntax doesn't matter. Understand the concept, what I'm trying to say. This is just the different types of things that you can work on in this, and that's what I want to show.
भैया linspace एक और बार.
Yes, so if you want to start, say you want to start from 0, and if you want to end on 100, and if you want 5 numbers जो 0 से start होता है 100 पे end होता है, सो यू कैन, क्या होंगे वो 5 नंबर? 0 होगा, 25 होगा, 50 होगा, 75 होगा, 100 होगा. हमको इवनली स्पेस चाहिए और वैसे 5 नंबर चाहिए, तो हम लिन स्पेस यूज करते हैं. ओके ओके, ठीक है. उसके बाद हम लोग अगर रैंडम इंटीजर्स जनरेट करना है, तो सपोज मैं बोलता हूँ कि मेरे को 0 और 100 के बीच में 9 रैंडम इंटीजर्स जनरेट करना है, तो हम लोग np.random.random यूज करते हैं. 0 और 100 के बीच में 9 रैंडम नंबर्स जनरेट करना है. यस, वी गेट दिस. ऑलराइट, अभी हमने रैंडम नंबर्स जनरेट कर दिए जो इंटीजर्स थे, बट अभी मैंने बोला अगर मुझे इंटीजर नहीं चाहिए, मुझे डेसिमल नंबर्स चाहिए, तो जो हम डेसिमल नंबर्स करते हैं, तो 10 रैंडम डेसिमल नंबर्स जनरेट करना है तो np.random.rand यूज़ करते हैं. और उसमें सपोज हमको नंबर को बड़ा करना है, तो हम लोग एरेज को 100 से मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हैं. तो उसमें क्या होगा, देखो 0.33625 है तो 33.625 हो जाएगा. तो हमने एलिमेंट पूरे नंपाई एरे के हर एक एलिमेंट को 100 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया. दिस इज अ वेरी पावरफुल ऑपरेशन. इट्स कॉल्ड एज वेक्टराइजेशन. सो इट्स अ वेरी पावरफुल थिंग. तो हमें जो हम डायरेक्टली कर पा रहे हैं, इट्स अ वेरी पावरफुल थिंग अबाउट द पाइथन. तुम सी में ये सब करने जाओ तो इट्स जस्ट गोना क्राई. How can you multiply an array with a number? C is going to cry. But Python is, that's why I always say that it's advanced, it's rich, and it gives you these privileges to work intuitively. Okay, so yeah, we can create this numpy array, we multiply it by 100 and we create a new numpy array. Okay, any doubt up till this point?
Sir,
Yeah.
सो वो 0.33 एंड ऑल वो जो नंबर्स है वो पूरे एरे में, वो तो मेंशन नहीं किए थे ना, तो वो कैसे आउटपुट में दिखाई दे रहे हैं?
We are generating random numbers here, that's why.
Okay, so it is done by like the coding itself, or I सर एक्चुअली नहीं समझा मुझे ये numpy array, मतलब ये जो पूरा ये है, मतलब लाइक कोड जो है लिखा है आपने वो.
ओके, सो इसमें क्या हो रहा है, हमें एक रैंडम नंबर्स जनरेट करना है. ठीक है, 10 रैंडम नंबर हमें जनरेट करना है. छोड़ो इसको, छोड़ो, दिस इज अभी ये फ्लोट में भी है. वील टॉक अबाउट रैंडम इंटीजर. ठीक है, सो सपोज मैंने बोला कि मुझे 0 और 100 के बीच में 9 रैंडम नंबर जनरेट करना है. तो इसके लिए हमें स्टैंडर्ड लाइब्रेरीज दिए गए हैं, np.random.randint. ये स्टैंडर्ड लाइब्रेरीज है जो हमें अलाउ करते हैं रैंडम इंटीजर्स जनरेट करने के लिए. गॉट इट?
Yes.
Yes, similarly np.random.rand allows us to make generate decimal numbers, and you want to generate 10 such decimal numbers. And now you can see these decimal numbers, 0 point something something. So if you say that no, I don't want such less decimal numbers, I want big decimal numbers. So what you can do, you can multiply each number by 100. So if you multiply each number by 100, you will get bigger numbers. And how you can multiply each number by 100? By directly multiplying the NumPy array by 100. This is the magic of Python. This is this is the magic of Python. If you try something like this in C or C++, it's going to cry. The code is not going to compile. But this is the magic of Python. Python is doing the magic internally for you so that you feel that wow, things are happening the way you thought. Cool.
Sir, actually,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
all the numbers are between 0 to 1. Why is it so?
that's how it works.
Any specific reason for that?
That's how it is made. So if you want to say generate negative numbers, then even I don't know. We'll have to Google search and try to find some. Yeah, I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Uh, in the starting, this is the official NumPy website. Okay, so even I don't remember all the thousands of functions that NumPy has created, standard library functions. So NumPy gives us a documentation. NumPy का खुद का documentation है, which tells us that it's a user guide basically. So you can go to the API reference, and you can just go and search. You can go here and you can search in the docs on whatever topics you want to search on, and this is how you can navigate in the official documentation. See, if you can also do a Google search and look on websites like Geeks for Geeks, W3 Schools. You can do Chat GPT. You can do uh, official. You can go to the official
Guys,
website. These are different resources from which you can learn.
आदित्य वो उसने पूछा था ना रैंडम डॉट रैंड 0 से 1 के बीच में क्यों होता है ऑलवेज सो इफ आई मीन ये थोड़ा टफ कॉन्सेप्ट है बट आई डोंट नो इधर किसने यूनिफॉर्म डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पढ़ा होगा कभी लाइफ में सो बेसिकली दैट्स व्हाट इट डज तो इट विल ऑलवेज गिव यू बिटवीन 0 होएगा बट 1 नहीं होगा सो 0 to 0.9999999 उसके बीच में मतलब इट विल गिव यू एनी रैंडम नंबर सो बेसिकली हम लोग कभी भी मशीन लर्निंग करते हैं या आगे मॉडल्स बनाते हैं तो यू मस्ट बी अवेयर कि प्रोबेबिलिटी इज अ मेजर पार्ट ऑफ आवर डेटा साइंस लाइक डोमेन so this will help you work around randomly between probabilities from 0 to 0.9999 closer to
Yeah, it always lie between 0 to 1. Exactly.
yeah that's
I
it
got it.
that's how it works.
Okay, cool. So no doubt up till this point. Okay, I'm going ahead. So now if you want to say create, as Rahul told about the uniform distribution, now if you want to create a normal distribution, but I don't want to put numbers manually for that, but I want to create random numbers inside a NumPy array such that it follows a normal distribution. And the two characteristics of normal distribution is the mean of that distribution and the standard deviation of the distribution, which we can define it here. Okay. So we have defined the mean is equal to 0 and the standard deviation is equal to 0.1. And now if we use np.random.normal, then it will generate the numbers in such a way that their mean will be 0 and their standard deviation will be 0.1, and we are generating 10 such numbers. Okay, this will come in an advanced later stage for you guys, but yeah, this is something you can use. And then we go to the concept of reshaping. So we understood the concept of shape: 2 comma 3, 3 comma 4, 3 rows and 4 columns, 3 comma 4. So now if I'm given an array and if I want to reshape it, I want to change the shape of the array, then how will we do it? So suppose I create a NumPy array 1 which contains 0 to 23, but now I want to convert that NumPy array such that I have 6 rows and 4 columns. How will I do that? So we can use the dot reshape function. That's also a standard function of the NumPy, which allows us to reshape the existing NumPy array. And this 6 rows and 4 columns. So yeah, you can see this. We created a new NumPy array 2, and it created 6 rows and 4 columns. Obviously, it should be compatible. If you put 6 rows and 5 columns, it should not work. Yes, it is not working. So you should put it as per the compatibility. Okay. And then,
I have a doubt.
yeah,
Abhi, you just talked about compatibility, but what if it's a prime number of um, elements or data?
say you have 23 numbers, for example.
Yeah, like any prime number.
Okay. So for that, I don't think it is going to be possible for this case because compatibility has to be there. You cannot compromise on that. So if there's a prime number, then mostly it's not possible to do it because
Okay,
the
okay.
integrity cannot be broken. You cannot say 6 comma 5. You cannot put any random number and expect it to generate something. So it's not going to work like that. Okay.
Okay, got it.
All the numbers should be in sequence, or we can just randomly select numbers according to our preference.
So here in this case, we wanted 6 rows and 4 columns. So we have accordingly mentioned it 6 comma 4. If I want 4 rows and 6 columns, I'm going to mention it like this.
No, I'm talking about the numbers which are like in ascending order 0 to 23. Can we just change them according to our preferences?
Okay. So you are saying that we want 0 to 23, but we want this row to be here and this row to be here.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? We can we have to do first. We have to first rearrange the numbers within the 1D array, and then we can do the changes in the 2D array. There is no standard function to use through reshape in which you can put the first one down and down one first. No, that's not possible. Dot using dot reshape function.
आदित्य व्हाट्सएप चेक करना
Huh.
Or can we change the elements of an array? Like,
Yeah,
can
we
we
can.
change the elements?
Yeah, I told you right. We can change the elements of the array. We can index. We can access each element of the array. See
No,
here.
I'm talking about like the topic which was going on. I'm talking like that the numbers are starting from 0 till 23. The array size is of 24. Okay. So
Yeah,
can we change the elements, like particular element? In example, I want to change the 11 number to some another number. Can we?
yeah. We can see now. If you want to say, if you want to change, we can say numpy array. Oops, what happened? You can say numpy array one. Ka 11th element is equal to 111. Now you run it.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so it's gonna work accordingly. 111. You can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So moving
So
on.
does the reshaping arranges the numbers into a matrix form? Does
Yeah,
the reshape arrange?
yeah. Everything that you see here is in a matrix form only. It's a 2D matrix, the 3D
So,
matrix, but yeah, it's in the matrix form.
so when we introduce rl dot reshape, does it arrange the numbers into a matrix form? Yeah?
Yeah, it is doing the arrangement of numbers in the matrix form. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now, next moving on, if we say that one of the dimensionalities is unknown for us, so we can use -1 in that case. So if I say that here we use 2, 3, and 4, right? So if I say I don't know 3, I did not calculate 3, but I know that I want 2 here and 4 here. So if we pass -1, then NumPy will automatically calculate what should be the number here. It will do the mathematics, it will calculate the number, and it will understand that it is 3 here, and it will accordingly generate a numpy array 4. You can say it is same as the numpy array 3. Okay, cool. And then we move on to stacking and merging of the numpy arrays. So if I have two numpy arrays like this, two numpy arrays, and now if I want to do vertical stack, then I'll do it like this. If I want to do a horizontal stack, then I'll concatenate them like this. In vertical stack, we'll concatenate them like this. In uh, vertical stack like this, and in horizontal stack like this. So that's what we are doing here. So if we have a numpy array 1 2 3 and another numpy array 5 6 7, and then we can use the vstack function, which allows us to vertically stack two arrays, and then we can use the hstack function to horizontally stack two arrays. Okay, cool. And then we go on to the aggregate functions. So the dot sum function. So if I want the sum of all the elements in the array, we can use the array1 dot sum. If I want the mean, accordingly array1 dot mean. Median, we use the np dot median. Max, np dot max. Min, if I want the minimum number of the array, I'll use the np dot min, and accordingly it will give us. And then this one's very important concept. I use this a lot, so it's kind of important for you guys to know too. I'll ask you to focus on this. It's the creating of numpy arrays on the basis of a boolean list. So if I say I apply some operation, and in which I get a boolean Python list which says true true false true 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 false false. Okay, so now if I say that from array 1 I want to create another result list which contains only the trues. So basically this is true, so this one will be selected. This is true, so this 2 will be selected. Since this is false, 3 will not be selected. This is true, so 4 will be selected. This is false, so 5 will not be selected. And this is false, so 6 will not be selected. So accordingly, if you see, the result is array1 ka boolean Python list. So basically we pass a boolean Python list, and accordingly we select the elements from the array1. Now you have to make sure that the compatibility is there. If this contains 6 elements, then this should also contain 6 elements. We cannot put any number of elements and play with that. So if we put the compatibility nicely, then it will give us a neat result. And for the true, it will be included in the result. If it is a false, then the corresponding element of the ARR1 will not be included in the result. Everybody got this? Any doubt?
We can rearrange the sequence of true and false, right?
Yes. You can make this true. You can make this false. You can do anything.
But what if you want to get all the false values?
Then a result will be 0. It will be an empty numpy array.
No, as in like यहाँ पे आपने जो true match हुआ array 1 के साथ वो print हुआ, but जो false match हो रहा है वो चाहिए तो
then what you can do is you can run a for loop. Okay, and वो for loop में
अच्छा फिर वो जो जैसे match होगा वैसे करना पड़ेगा. Okay.
No, you can run a for loop and you can say that you can create a new boolean Python list जिसमें उसमें अगर true है तो मुझे false append करना है, उसमें अगर false है तो मुझे true append करना है. You can create a new list.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then final part, creating a boolean numpy array from an existing numpy array. So if I say that I have a boolean numpy array, I want to create a boolean numpy array from an existing numpy array. So मुझे अगर ARR1 दे दिया और मुझे उसमें से जानना है कि कितने एलिमेंट्स है जो ARR1 में 4 से छोटे हैं, ARR1 less than 4. So we can basically put this condition and create a boolean array. So if you see, जो हमारा 1 2 3 है, they are smaller than 4. 4 5 6 is larger than 4, larger than or equal to 4, basically not smaller than 4. So the first 3 will be true and the next 3 will be false. Okay, cool.
Condition डाल.
Yeah, we put a condition. Yes, and accordingly we created a new boolean array from an existing numpy array.
भूमिश मैंने लाइक चैट में डाल दिया, तो नेगेटिव कैसे ले लेगा?
Okay, cool.
Okay, thanks.
वो इक्वल्स नेगेटेड वो नीचे के लाइन में आ गया, बट दैट इज वन, मतलब वो नेगेटेड बूलियन लिस्ट असाइन नीचे वाले लाइन को.
Yeah, nice, cool. You can use that.
बेसिकली व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वो नेगेटिव बूलियन लिस्ट में हम लोग फ्लिप कर रहे हैं वैल्यूज और फिर कर रहे हैं. गॉट इट?
Yeah, got it.
Cool.
ये वाला नहीं समझा.
कैसा वाला?
नेगेटेड वाला कैसे लाए?
वेद तो वो रन करके दिखा सकता है.
हाँ.
आई होप चले, मैंने ऐसे लिख दिया चैट में मतलब।
हाँ हाँ रन हो रहा है वो 356 आए हैं
सपोज तेरा बूलियन पाइथन लिस्ट में बस ट्रू है फिर
ऊपर वाला ही ले लेना, ऊपर के दोनों चीज ले ले।
हाँ
प्रिंट रिजल्ट तो
या सो जो 3, 5 और 6 था बेसिकली उसके लिए फॉल्स था ना, 3 था 5 था और 6 था उसके लिए फॉल्स था राइट। हमने उसको अभी नेगेट कर दिया तो वो ट्रू हो गया और जब भी हमने उसको सिलेक्ट किया तो वो सिलेक्ट हो गया। कूल।
अच्छा नेगेट यानी वो वेवी साइन को नेगेट बोलते हैं
हाँ यस
ओके
cool. We can move on to to pandas now.
Use negated, right, for 3, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6.
Yeah, we use negated, right? Okay, so now we'll go on to the pandas part, and now my friend Om Gadia is gonna take over for the pandas part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just wait. So is the screen visible? Hello.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Yeah. So as Aditya had mentioned, we also be studying pandas today. So pandas is also actually used for data manipulation and analysis. So it is also used alongside NumPy. So these are like the functions which we can do using that. So reading and writing data, we can reshape it, we can merge the data, join it and clean it. So as Aditya had mentioned earlier, pandas consists of two objects. One is data frame and the series. The main difference between both of them is that series is a uh, series is like a 1D array and data frame is a 2D array. So as you can see here is an example. So in a series, we get the index value by default. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and these are like the data. And there is only one column in series, but there can be multiple rows, as you guys can see here. And also the one of the property of series is that you can store heterogeneous data in it. This much is clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so data frame is, we can say that a collection of series. So as you can see, in data frame, we have different rows and different columns. For example, this data frame, we have name, team, number, position, and age. So these are all like a group of series collectively placed in a data frame with the index values. So anyone has any doubt? Hello.
No doubt, sir.
Yeah, what to repeat once?
एक बार फिर से रिवाइज करा दो जो पढ़ा है अभी
Yeah. So what I said was that there are two objects in pandas which we use. So one is series. So in series, we can store heterogeneous data and homogeneous data both, and it consists of axis label which are known as index. But in series, there is only one thing that we can only have one column. So as you can see, here is the index which is by default and the data. So Mark, Justin, John, Vicky, they are all rows and there is only one column that is data.
Whereas in data frames, we have multiple columns, which we can also say that it consists of multiple series with multiple rows.
Like it's heterogeneous.
Yeah, no, yeah, heterogeneous. So we can store heterogeneous in series also, but it's the only one column is
Okay.
there. Yeah. So I would suggest that you guys create a copy so that you can work with me. Yeah, once you are done, you can just let me know. All right, so we'll start. So first we import the libraries. So as we import pandas and NumPy. All right, so we start with series. So to create a series here, we use the series function in pandas, in which we give the array as an input. So it's quite easy basically. So as you can see, create the series. This is like the index value, and these are the values which are stored in it. And the data type is integer. Now, what if this is like a default index value. So what if I want to change it? So we can like use the index method and give a custom index if we want to. Yeah. So any doubts here? Okay. So now like as list or tuple, we can access data in this also using the index values. So just like this. And if I want to access multiple values, then we can give two indexes together. But do remember you have to give two brackets if you're giving two values.
भैया ये चीज एक और बार रिपीट कर सकते हो, वन इंडेक्स और टू इंडेक्स?
कौन सा वाला? ये वाला?
उसके नीचे वाला.
Custom index.
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, when we create a series, as I mentioned earlier, we get a default index, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. So what if I don't want that and I want to use my own index values? So what we can do is we can use the index method. So you can see that we have created, we have given the values here, right?
Yes.
And here are the index which we give for those values. So for A, the value is 10, for G, the value is 20, and so on, right?
Huh.
Yeah, so that is it. And this is
Okay.
we are accessing the values using the index.
ये प्रिंट माय सीरीज ए, तो उसकी वैल्यू आ गई 10 जो ऊपर
हाँ,
थी.
उसकी वैल्यू आ गई. Just like we do in tuple or list, right?
Okay.
हाँ, so same ही है, बस इसमें फर्क इतना है कि ये ऐसा होता है. But do remember here, if we give two values, we have to give two brackets.
अच्छा ठीक है.
Hmm. So now what if I want to update it? So yeah, it's pretty simple. We can update it also. No doubt here, right?
No, sir.
Okay. So here we are performing the maths operation as I had shown you. So in series also we can do it. Just multiply it by 2, so every value gets multiplied. Then we are applying. So here I created a new series with these values, and we are doing the aggregate functions over here. So it gives the minimum, maximum, mean, median, and mode. Okay, so till the series part is clear.
Yeah, why is it showing the data type?
It shows by default actually. It's like the integer data type which it shows.
But वो किसके साथ दिखाता है? As in which of these functions? कि किसी के साथ भी?
नहीं किसी से देख ना इधर when you print the normal series when you create it. So यहाँ पे भी
अच्छा.
दिखा रहा है ना?
Yeah, right.
So this is like one of the property of series you can see. So the series is clear, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we will move on to data frames. So to create, as I mentioned, data frames are two-dimensional arrays. Okay. So we need to have a row and columns. So the first way we can create a data frame is using dictionary. So as you know, that might know that dictionary contains key and value pairs. So here we are giving two columns, which is name and age. Okay. So first we created the dictionary, and then to create the data frame, we use the data frame function. So here we get the data frame. Got it?
सर इसमें ब्रैकेट भी यूज करना है?
किसमें? डिक्शनरी में?
हाँ.
हाँ, so dictionary का by default we use this curly bracket, right? If you had attended yesterday's session, no.
Yeah.
So name is the key, and Adam, Joe, and Kevin are the value. You got it?
Yes.
और भैया वो इंडेक्स पोजीशन
Yeah.
भी हमेशा बाय डिफॉल्ट दिखाता है.
ये वाला राइट? हाँ, ये by default ही आता है.
ओके.
So ये हो गया by dictionary. Then we can do it using tuple also. So you can see where we gave values bird and falcon and all that stuff. So here we are giving the custom index, as you can see. So falcon and all that is the custom index, and the columns are class, order, and max speed. And then we are creating data frame using multiple NumPy arrays. So यहाँ पे if we don't give a column name, then वो 0, 1, 2 ही आता है by default. So we can change that using this. Okay. And then here we are selecting the columns, and this is the data type. Now, what if I want to delete a column from a data frame? So I directly use a delete mydef. So mydef is your data frame and the column name.
इसके पहले वाला एक बार थोड़ा धीरे जाना ना.
कौन सा?
इसके पहले जो किया creating data frames from multiple number arrays.
Yeah, so we chose created four NumPy arrays, as you can see. So employee ID, employee name, employee age, and employee salary. Okay. ये समझा ना?
Yes, yes.
हाँ. तो फिर data frame के लिए तो we use the direct function data frame, and here we give data as EID, ENAME, EAGE, ESalary. So इसकी जो भी values होगी वो यहाँ आ जाएगी.
Okay.
रोज और कॉलम्स
हाँ.
फॉर्मेट में ही आ जाए.
हाँ, by default.
ओके.
और यहाँ पे इंडेक्स इसका फिर 0, 1, 2 आता है, सो उसको अपन चेंज कर सकते हैं. ठीक है ना? थोड़ा मैं फास्ट जाऊंगा क्योंकि थोड़ा टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट है. So this is like selecting the name of the column. ये तो easy है. Name column select किया तो ये print होता है. Deleting the column, so we delete the age column by mentioning delete function, then the data frame name and the column name. Okay. इतना समझा ना?
यस सर.
डिलीटिंग वाला समझ गया. सेलेक्टिंग कॉलम कैसे किया?
हाँ, तो selecting, हाँ. So ये देख, ये data frame name यूज किया हमने. जैसे अपन इंडेक्स देते हैं ना, जिससे वैल्यू आता है, वही है, हमने कॉलम का नाम दे दिया इंडेक्स की जगह पे, तो
ओके.
सारे वैल्यूज आ गए. हाँ, दैट्स ऑल. दैट्स द डिफरेंस.
ठीक है.
हाँ. So now we will add new column. For example, I want to add a new column, so that we can do because they are mutable. So it is we mention the data frame name, then the column name, and for example, I want to add a series, so we added this. Okay. समझा ना ये न्यू कॉलम ऐड किया वो?
हाँ.
Alright. So here we are what we are doing is यहाँ पे हमने my dictionary का ऊपर बनाया था, if you remember we made dictionary of Adam, Joe and Kevin and the age. So यहाँ पे देखो, अभी यहाँ पे हमने जब न्यू कॉलम ऐड किया तो यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं आया. Can you say why? Yeah, because we did not mention the index in that. And then the next one we mention it, so the value gets added. So here also we are creating a new column existing from the existing column. We just multiply the age twice. So we add
डीएफ
the
एक
new column here.
फंक्शन है क्या?
DF तेरा ये है ना data frame. My DF is
ओके,
a data frame we have made. Data frame is the function.
अच्छा ठीक है.
तो यहाँ तक समझा? So to creating new column for existing column.
Yes.
Okay. So now Aditya will take on.
Yo.
आदित्य सुनना,
Yes.
इम्पोर्ट वो सब वाली एक और पांडास की फाइल है.
सॉरी मुझे नहीं समझ में आया, तो क्या बोल रहा है?
पांडास कितना है मतलब, और इसके बाद
काफी है भाई, काफी है.
वो ड्राइव में नहीं है, इसलिए मैं पूछ रहा था.
ड्राइव में नहीं है? क्या बात कर रहा है?
की फाइल है NumPy 1 2 एंड पांडास 1.
हाँ, पांडास 1 ही है. पांडास 1 ही बहुत बड़ा है.
अच्छा, इज इट? क्योंकि मेरे इसमें तो खत्म हो जाएगा.
देख अभी मैं स्क्रीनशॉट स्टार्ट किया, दिख रहा है.
हाँ तू कर ले मैं वो.
हाँ देख.
अच्छा मैंने कुछ मिस कर लिया, कर लो तुम.
हाँ
हाँ
काफी
बिल्कुल.
बड़ा है.
हाँ सॉरी.
ओके ठीक है. तो यस, हम लोग ने बेसिक्स कवर किया पांडास का. कूल. ये हमारा ऐसे सीरीज दिखता है, दिस हाउ द सीरीज लुक्स. एंड ये हमारे डेटा फ्रेम का स्ट्रक्चर है. तो ये हमारे रोज है, ये हमारे कॉलम्स है. और एज यू कैन सी हर एक कॉलम हेट्रोजीनियस, हर एक कॉलम भले होमोजीनियस है, बट पूरा डेटा फ्रेम हेट्रोजीनियस हो सकता है. मतलब यू कैन हैव नेम में डिफरेंट ऑब्जेक्ट, नंबर में यू कैन हैव एन इंट ऑब्जेक्ट, वैसे. ओके. सो एंड ईच सेल इज आवर डेटा. ठीक है. एंड वन सीरीज इज वन कॉलम ऑफ द एंटायर डेटा फ्रेम. ओके कूल. भाई किधर से करना था? सॉरी आई मिस्ड इट.
Log I log
Creating
वाले
new
से start.
Creating a new column from existing column.
That was done, right?
Yeah, that was done.
हाँ. So log I log से कर देते. नहीं ये नहीं.
सिलेक्ट रो बेस्ड ऑन इंडेक्स हेडर है मार्कडाउन में.
हाँ वो
नीचे सिलेक्ट रो बेस्ड ऑन इंडेक्स.
थोड़ा नीचे.
कंट्रोल F मत कर, स्क्रॉल पे मिल जाएगा ऊपर.
Sorry for getting lost. Yes.
हाँ बस.
Okay. ठीक है. Selecting a row based on index. So now we are going to learn how to select a row if we are given a particular index. Index हम सब लोगों को समझा ना index क्या रहता है. Index basically तुमको अगर किसी बट हर एक रो को तुमको एक नंबर देना है. सपोज हम लोग एक्सेल में एक फाइल क्रिएट करते हैं, तो उसमें हम लोग इंडेक्स देते हैं ना, कि सीरियल नंबर देते हैं कि 0 1 2 3, वैसे इंडेक्स जैसा है काइंड ऑफ. बट वन थिंग दैट आई वुड लाइक टू टेल अबाउट इंडेक्स इज कि इंडेक्स में इट कैन कंटेन डुप्लीकेट्स. तो जनरली यू वांट के सीरियल नंबर यूनिक हो, बट index Python allows you to keep duplicate values of index, so be aware of that if ever you are dealing with it. ठीक है. You cannot be under the assumption कि वो सिर्फ यूनिक वैल्यूज ही लेगा, वो डुप्लीकेट भी ले सकता है. ठीक है. And now we are going for selecting a row based on index. Okay, so we can use different types of functions. There's a lock and the ilock. ठीक है. Lock is when you say that I want to select a row whose index is p1. Okay, so let me check where's my mydf. Yes, in this mydf I want to select this row this is the index. This is the index part. This part is the index part. Okay. I want to select a row whose index is p1. For that, I'll use then I'll put p1. So I'll get all the attributes of that p1. So his name is Adam, age is 12, and so on. Okay. And this is when I know okay, I want to select p1. But now if I say I don't know p1, but I know that I want to access the content, the access the data of say a particular row number. So in that case, we use ilock, which is a faster approach. So in that case, if I use one, so if we go here, one is basically this. So this is 0 and this is 1. All the indexing is from 0. So this is our 1. Okay. So we when we put 1, we get all these details: Joe 66 20. These are the details that we are gonna get like this here. So we can use the ilock function to basically access the data of a particular row. Okay. Now, any doubts up till this point?
सो ilock में कुछ डिफाइन वगैरह नहीं करना था, फंक्शन ही है वो फर्स्ट वाला जो है उसको रिटर्न
तो जल्द से जल्द करवा और उसके अंदर
Sorry, I didn't get you. Can you repeat?
जो ilock है वो फंक्शन है बेसिकली, और वो जो फर्स्ट रो में जो भी वैल्यूज है उसको रिटर्न करेगा.
Yes, फर्स्ट रो में जो भी वैल्यूज है उसको रिटर्न करेगा. ओके, कूल. तो सिलेक्टिंग अ रो एंड अ कॉलम बेस्ड ऑन इंडेक्स. सो अभी हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, हम लोग एक रो को सिलेक्ट कर रहे हैं. बट अगर हमको रो और कॉलम दोनों दिया जाए तो व्हाट विल बी बॉइल डाउन टू? वी विल बॉइल डाउन टू अ सेल. वी विल बॉइल डाउन. सो इफ आई वांट टू नो द एज ऑफ a person p2, then I will use .at. So p2's age, so basically if I have to go here, p2 and that guy's age, so that will be 66. That's what we'll get here. Okay. And now if I use iat, if I don't know p2 but I know that that guy resides on row number 1, then row number 1 and the age is also this column number is also 1. I don't know the name of the column, I know the column number of the column. So the row number 1 and column number 1, that will help me in extracting the value at that cell. Okay, cool. Now we are going to learn how to add a row using lock. I'm going to add new rows inside the data frame. So we have a dictionary we created. From the dictionary we created the data frame. So up here at this point we learned the different ways of creating. We can go on here. We learned the different ways of creating a data frame. So we can create the data frames from dictionaries, from the list of tuples. We can use multiple NumPy arrays to create a single data frame. And yeah, these are the 3 popular ways to create data frames. Cool. So now we were looking at adding a row using lock. So if you want to add a row, if you are given a dictionary, all right, and from that dictionary the name is this, age is this. So basically we'll create a data frame in which name is this and age is this. pd.data frame. Okay, cool. And now if I want to add a new row, then I will use the dot lock, and then length of this is basically a syntax. Understanding exact meaning of it is you'll have to spend a little time on it. Length of my df is what? Suppose if I give you, for example, a list which is of 5 elements. So if I say list ka 6th element, no, sorry, that's a wrong example, I should not have taken that. This is a different case. This is the case of dot lock in data frames. Don't confuse it with the list part. Sorry.
मैं समझाऊं like क्या है?
बोलना.
Basically, guys, as you all know कि मैंने कल, if you all were there yesterday and you remember, कि length tells us how many like elements are there. तो नीचे देखोगे, if you consider the above dictionary, Adam, Joe and Kevin, the length is 3, however the last index is 2. तो हम लोग को लास्ट इंडेक्स के बाद वाला पोजीशन पे we want to add another like list, right? Any and age. So basically what we are doing is we are putting the index as the length, because always the length will be last index का plus 1 वाला number. You all get it? पक्का? तो बेसिकली हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग mydf.log 3 भी करेंगे तो भी होगा, बट व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज लेंथ कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज लेंथ इज आल्सो 3 एंड इट विल ऑलवेज बी डायनामिक. क्योंकि अगर तुम लोग का लेंथ बीच से बढ़ गया तो ऑलवेज इफ यू वांट टू ऐड, तुम लोग का हमेशा वो एरर नहीं देगा. इफ यू वांट टू मैन्युअली एंटर एन इंडेक्स, उससे अच्छा हम लोग खाली लेंथ डाल देते हैं, बिकॉज वो हमेशा लास्ट के एक आगे वाला इंडेक्स का वैल्यू रहेगा. गॉट इट? तेरे को पूरा रख.
Bhaiya, can you explain that part where you said why we're taking index and not just the length of the data frame?
अच्छा,
Yes, that's what I'm showing.
हाँ हाँ. थोड़ा नीचे वेद तब तक स्क्रॉल कर सकते हैं, वो वाला लाइन कर सकते हैं. हाँ. सो सी mydf.log के अंदर यू सी द स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट के अंदर वी हैव रिटन लेंथ ऑफ mydf.index, राइट?
Yeah.
You are with me there, right? So basically चल I'll just show you like tell you list के हिसाब से, मतलब अगर लिस्ट में you want to add, नहीं list नहीं, sorry, I'm just telling you कि if you want to add to a data frame, you'll give the index which is one more than the length of the data frame, right? Because length of the data frame में change करोगे, like if you give 1 तो वो जो को replace करके any डाल देगा, right?
Yeah.
So basically what you're doing is, समझ third वाला है, उसके बाद वाला we are giving an index, allocating an index to that, and then उस पे we are telling कि this is the name and this is the age. Name is any, पता नहीं any क्यों रखा है इसने, but any, but age, and age is 49.
अच्छा, okay.
अभी तू वापस उस पे करेगा, like you run it 3 times, तो 3 बार तेरा any और 49 आएगा, and you will not have an error where it will overwrite your data frame. समझ आया?
Yeah, right.
क्योंकि तो अभी like this will also lead to having huge data, like data frames and like size of your data, right? तो 10,000 का and उसमें you make like realize ये error कर दिया, you won't realize you've done this error of overwriting on your own CSV file, right? या Excel file. तो to prevent that overwriting का problem, we use length so that हमेशा नया add होते जाए.
But then why index?
Because log में हम लोग you can do dot keys also, dot values also, does not matter. Index basically will give you the length ना, मतलब basically index will give you कि कितना है.
हाँ, right. I'll give you the number of elements.
Yeah, basically.
So if you want to get all the indexes of this data frame, we can use the dot index and it will give us all the indexes, and then we use the length function on top of it. So we'll know how many indexes are there, and then we'll put them here. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll move on to next part, is that's deleting a row based on the index. So if I have the index to delete is 1, if I know which index I have to delete, so we just put mydf.drop index equal to index.delete and in place equal to true. Now in this case, if you don't use in place equal to true, then you will have to use this. If you don't use this, then you will have to do this. Got it? Will everyone get it? What I did right now? If we don't use in place equal to true.
Aditya, their screen has hung.
Sir, your screen is stuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
अभी हुआ ठीक, like hang हो गया था. अभी ठीक.
Okay. Okay, everybody understood what I did. What was there now was this. Okay. What I did is I removed this and I did this. So if what is the purpose of in place is that we want to make the changes. We just don't want to append it or basically delete a row from it and then return a new one. We want to make the changes in the thing itself. That's why we use in place. So instead of using this format, this line, what we can do is we can use in place. It's going to give you the same it's going to be the same effect. Okay. And so if we put the index which we wanted to delete is 1, so you can see 0, 2 and 3 are only there. The index 1 has been deleted. Okay. Now we'll go on to the next part, that is the reading of the CSV files. So now you might ask that why do we deal with CSV files? We can also deal with Excel files. Excel files we have been using since a long time, so it's more intuitive for us. And why are we dealing with CSV files? So yeah, I've written a small one-liner for why we use CSV files. You can go through it. I'll give you 10 seconds. You can go through it.
Also, like to add on to this, like तुम लोग ने पढ़ लिया तो thumbs up बोल दो. I'll add on to why CSV over Excel. Yeah, so basically, CSV files don't have a limit of length. So abhi to you won't realize, but when you work on industry level projects like this, I faced during my internship, so I realized. So in industry, we have data sets which are more than 1 million ka length. Okay. So what happens is Excel का तुम लोग कभी भी देखो, Excel will have a limit of 1,008,000 or 80,000 or something like that. So the thing with CSV is कि तुम वो number exceed कर सकते हो, and you can have one file में the entire length of like whatever data you have. So what I had was like मेरे को data store करना था एक जगह, तो मेरा वो scraper था. So basically I had 3 sheets of an Excel में sheet होती है ना नीचे, तो वो हमें नया शीट बनाना पड़ता है हमेशा इफ यू वांट टू एक्सीड मोर देन 1 मिलियन. उससे अच्छा सीएसवी में करोगे तो द एंटायर थिंग विल कम इनटू वन फाइल ओनली एंड इट इज वेरी इजी टू रीड, वेरी फास्ट एज कंपेयर्ड टू एक्सेल. You get it?
Yeah.
And VS Code, if you're using VS Code IDE, it has very good extensions for CSV. So like if I don't know if I have any CSV files right now, but yeah, I've worked on many CSV files and they are really nice. The extensions in VS Code are really nice, which help us to uh, visualize the CSV files. So they put colors in them, and you can auto space them. They are really good in VS Code. Okay. So moving on, we are reading CSV files. So this is the path of the GitHub repo. So in this GitHub repo, we have uploaded our data sets. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to run the cell and it will automatically fetch the data from that GitHub repo. Okay. And that's how we get the data frame, which is pd.read CSV. That's the function that we use, pd.read CSV, which so we give the path and we get the data frame out of it. So in case you are using
locally का भी बता देना कि locally कैसे load हो जाता है.
हाँ वही, in case you are using local data set, so suppose the name of my data set is data.csv. Okay, so what I can say is my data frame is equal to pd.read csv, and then I just specify the name of the data set, that is data.csv. In case this will work in case the data is in the same file as the file of data is in the same folder. Data.csv file is in the same folder that we are working in, which this file currently is in. Okay. If that
Guys,
is not,
अगर ये नहीं होता तो you can just copy path and then path डाल दो उसके अंदर.
yeah,
Sorry, ऐसे you go ahead.
yeah. So suppose it's in a directory outside it, so you can use the dot and that slash data.csv if it's in that outside directory. Okay. Basically, no need for doing this. Basically, go in the Finder or the File Explorer and just go and copy the path and paste that path, and it will work. Okay. Cool. And the dot head function helps us in printing the first 5 rows of the dataset. Okay. Any doubts up to this point? No. Okay, cool. I'm moving ahead. So now we can make the data column as the index of every date column. Sorry. So if I want, see, I have these columns with me. But what if I want to say that my date column should be the index column, not actual column of the data set? It should be of the data frame. It should be an index column. So yeah, we can set it specify it while uh, reading the CSV file. The index column should be date. So now you can see the date is there, but it is a little below than all these. It is just to signify that it is now an index column and is not an actual column. Okay. So yeah, this is of the index thing. Now similarly, we can also read some text files. So let me see if I have downloaded those files. Sorry, I have not downloaded those files. Oops, I'm missing. Yeah, I downloaded it. So which file are we taking here? Info.txt. So this is the text file that we have. All right. Now if you want to read this file, then we can use a simple pd.read csv also for the function. Even if it's a text file, you can use pd.read csv. Okay. I think there's an error here. And similarly, you can read the data set and move ahead. And next, if you want to know about our data sets, then there are standard functions that we can use. So df.info is one of the functions that we can use. So what does the df.info give us? It gives us the column name, and it also gives us the non-null count. So how many non-null values are there for a particular column, and it also gives us the data type of each column. So is it an date is an object, open high, all these things are in float, and this volume is basically an integer. So it gives us the uh, overall summary kind of thing about the data frame. All right. And also gives us the memory usage. It gives us the different data types that have been used. This line gives us the different data types that have been used. Okay. This is very useful. If you will see in the next day after tomorrow, when you will learn about data cleaning, right? Null values are going to be really a pain in your life because they are going to be there and you will have to deal with them in some or the other way. So this dot info is very good because it gives you an summary of how many non-null values are there. Because see, you directly know from this that there are 252 entries, 0 to 251. All right, and in 252 entries, all the columns are giving you 252 non-null, 252 non-null, which means your data set is good. The quality of your data set is good because because there are no null values inside it. Okay, so this is about the df.info. Now there's another function which is called as df.describe, which helps us uh, talk about the statistical parameters of each column. So what is the count? Basically, how many elements are there in each column, and then what is the mean of each column, standard deviation, the minimum, the 25% is basically the first quartile. If you know what quartiles are, I think it's 11 12 statistics. Then this 50% is the second quartile, and 75% is the third quartile, and this is the maximum value of each column. So if you don't know what quartiles are, then I'll tell you in 50%, which means that the middle value of the entire, if you sort the values of a particular column, then the middle value is the 50th percentile. The 1/4 value basically in the of all the data that you have, the 1/4 position पे जो भी है, that's the 25th percentile, and the 3/4 position पे जो भी है, that's the 75th percentile. Okay, that's the third quartile. Cool. So then after that, any doubt up till this point? Sorry, I'm going very fast.
With WhatsApp.
Huh.
Pink color.
Okay, so now let's wrap it up. Then we have a correlation matrix. So if I want to see the correlation between different columns, so I have one column say open and another column say high. So this uses the concepts of statistics. The formulas of statistics are used behind the scenes. We do not see it here, but if you want to see how one column is correlated to another column, then you can use the df.core. It's very helpful when you are doing data reduction. Basically, when you want to eliminate few columns, when eliminate few columns which are not so much correlated to your target column. Suppose, for example, I'll say minus 3.25 is not so much correlated to the volume column. Volume column and adjacent close column are not so much correlated. So if adjacent close column is the if volume column is the target column, then I won't use adjacent close column as a column for making any prediction. Basically, I'll remove that column if I want to create a model. Okay, so it just helps us in knowing the correlations and how one column depends on another, stuff like that. Yeah, and then there's a reference link if you want to see some math about it. Okay, one more thing.
These are the R values, right?
R values. Yeah, this is the R values. The correlation, the R values. There are different types of R values. I think this is the Pearson's coefficient.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, there are different R values. Yeah. So yeah, one more thing that I want to say is this is only applicable for numeric columns. So if you have some categorical columns, as in columns in which the data is um, name of the cities, that's categorical. Name of the fruits, anything like that, that's categorical data. So in that case, there is no number to represent it, and because of that, those categorical columns are not represented here. All the columns that you see here, the category columns will not be a part of this df.core matrix. Okay, just wanted to point out that. So you cannot use this as a data reduction technique in case you are dealing with categorical columns. Okay, and then you can check for null values in the data set. The dot is null function. So yeah, when you load this data set and when I'm printing it, you can see there's a nan here, there's a nan here. Okay, so I want to basically remove all the basically I want to see the null values. So we can use df dot is null. So wherever there is a nan, it will give you true. So this is a nan. So you see this is a true, and this is a nan. So you see this is a true. This is a nan. This is a true, and all the others are not nan, and that's why all the others are false. Okay, cool. So next we first identified these are the null values. Now we have to deal with them. So in that case, we have different techniques. So if you want to drop the rows which contain the null values, we use the df.drop_na. Again, in place equal to true is very important if we want to ensure that after dropping the rows, the effect has been made in the original data frame or not. Data frame is basically an object, so the changes has been made or not. For that case, we use df.drop_na in place equal to true. Okay, and when we use in place equal to true, we remove the rows which contain null values. So if you see in our case, this row contained a null value here, this row contained a null value here, this row contained a null value here. So only 0 and 4. That's what you see here, right? Only 0 and 4 is there after removing the null values on the rows which contain null values. And now let's read the dataset again. And now let's drop the columns which contain null or invalid values. So which column contains the name column, the age column, and the hobby column? They contain null values. So if we want to remove those columns, then we can use the df.drop na axis equal to 1. So we basically specify the axis equal to 1, which means that we want to remove columns which contain null values. So yeah, you see only the id and the type column did not contain null values, and that's why they are retained. All the other columns have been deleted. Okay, cool. Now if you want to replace the nan values of a particular column of a data frame with 0, suppose I want to replace the nan values of age column with 0. So this nan I want to replace it with 0. So I'll say df. Now you have to understand this. We are selecting a particular column of the data frame. When we are using this syntax, right, we are selecting the age column of the data frame, and then we are saying that we want to fill the na values of the data frame of the column age column with 0, and we are saying in place equal to true, which means that we want the effect to be pertain to be just there. Okay, and that's what you can see. The nan has been replaced by 0. And then there's a small example use case that I've created. Let's see. Any doubt up till this point? Anyone?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. So yeah, in this case, what we have done is we have taken the age. All right, now this is the case of creating a new column from an existing column. So if I say that if I am of age 13, I am a teen. If I am of 96, I am elderly. If I am 64, I am adult. Okay, but the initial data frame did not consist of that. Initial data frame consists of random numbers from 0 to 100, and that were in the age column basically. So initially we had only this much, like only this much, this one and this one. We did not have this one initially. We created a new column from an existing column. Okay, so how do you do that? We create a new column, say category, and when we use this syntax, what it does is it creates a new column category, and it fills the data in it with all the nan values when we use this syntax. Okay, and then we call a function. We have created a function category vectorized, and what that function does is it takes the conditions. The condition is that if the age is less than or equal to 11, or is it between the 12 or 18, it's between 19 or 65, it's greater than 65, and the choices, the corresponding choices for the corresponding conditions have been mentioned here. And then there's a np.select function in which we pass the conditions, we pass the choices, and the default value is kept none. And when we use this, we create a new column from an existing column by applying some conditions on the existing column. Okay, and this is just the time taken, how much time it took. You can see it took really less time. This is the advantage of vectorized. In case you use a Python for loop, so you iterate over each row and basically put a new value for that row. If you use Python syntax for doing this, it's going to take, especially if the data set is huge, it's going to take a lot of time. And that's why we always prefer to use vectorization. We prefer to use the standard libraries of NumPy and Pandas, because they internally are written in C. So that's why we have emphasis on the standard libraries rather than coding things ourselves in Python. We can do that, no problem. It's like it's going to be a good practice for you, but at the end it's going to be slow because it's in Python. Simple. Okay. And then last part, ways to manipulate the data in data frames. So yeah, that's what I said. You can use traditional loops. That's the slowest approach. That's not recommended at all. And then you can use the apply function. That's a comparatively faster approach. It uses C in the back. And then you can use vectorization, which is the fastest approach and is the most highly recommended approach. Okay. So I've created a function. I've created a NumPy array, and now I'm giving an example of the apply function. I'm not given the example of for looping. That's this one. I'm not given this example because I don't want to encourage you guys to use the traditional loops to perform data manipulation on existing data frames. It's not recommended. It's for use data sets. It's going to be slow and it's going to take more memory, and just it's not recommended. And that's why I've not even given an example of it. I've given an example of apply function and the vectorization function. All right, vectorization thing. So you can use the apply function. So we have created the data frame of the number, and now basically we have given x and we are calculating f of x, and we are using a new we are creating a new column out of it. All right, so we use the dot apply function, and using the dot apply and then the function, then the name of the function, this is this, and it is returning x into 2. Simple. So 74 का 148, 32 का 64 accordingly. ठीक है. So this is the example of dot apply function. If you want to create a new column from an existing column using the dot apply function, although it's not the best way, but it is better than using traditional for loops. And then you have the example of vectorization. So that's going to be the fastest approach, and this is the most fastest, and even this is the most intuitive approach. Like you're just saying that a new column f of x using vectorization, you create a new column with this name is equal to, you apply that function on the df of number. Python is going to take care of the magic behind the scene, and it's going to create a new column for you. And yes, this is it. Cool. Anyone has any doubt? We have completed a long session. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Guys, thank you for staying. आज तो ज़्यादा लंबा हो गया, but I'm happy at least all of you all are there, committed with us. Trust me, 7 दिन रुक जाओ. I know it's a bit stressful along with college, but रुक जाओ 7 दिन because it's going to help you all a lot. And तुम लोग को बहुत अच्छा आइडिया मिल जाएगा कैसे डेटा साइंस हो रहा है. एंड आज आदित्य ने तो इतना सुंदर समझाया कि मेरा भी जाने का मन है, कि हमको भी बहुत मजा आया. एंड आई आल्सो गॉट अ लॉट ऑफ इनसाइट. सो या वी ऑल लर्न एवरी डे. रुक जाओ एक हफ्ता. आई एम सॉरी आज वापस डिले हो गया, बट हम लोग डिले कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें चाहिए कि तुम लोग अच्छे से सीखें. ऐसे नहीं कि मतलब खत्म करने के लिए कर रहे. आई होप यू ऑल गेट इट.
Yeah.
थैंक्स टू ओम एंड आदित्य टुडे. बहुत अच्छा सिखाया, मजा आ गया.
नहीं करना मतलब थैंक यू.
Thank you, both of you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
या सो कल डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन होगा. उसमें हम लोग एक्चुअली सिखाएंगे कि तुम प्लॉट्स कैसे बना सकते हो. कल सुंदर वाला पार्ट है. कल मजा आएगा. कल सब लोग आने वाले हैं, पूरा काउंसिल आने वाला है. कल सब लोग देखेंगे कि कैसे हम लोग ये गंदा सा लुकिंग डेटा फ्रेम जो चीज होती है, जो तुम लोग पक गए हो नाम सुन के आज, डेटा फ्रेम डेटा फ्रेम डेटा फ्रेम थक गए होगे आई एम श्योर. तो तुम लोग उससे कैसे बार प्लॉट्स बना सकते हो, लाइन प्लॉट्स बना सकते हो, तुम लोग उसको कलर कैसे कर सकते हो, एंड एक्चुअली मीनिंगफुल कैसे बना सकते हो, कल सीखोगे. एंड उसका नोटबुक तो बहुत ही अच्छा है. ट्रस्ट मी, उसका नोटबुक तो बहुत सुंदर है। मैं तो फर्स्ट डे पे भी बोला था, आज भी बोल रहा हूँ, विजुअलाइजेशन वाला डे मजा आने वाला है। और वो कल है दिन, तो सब लोग आने वाले हैं। ग्रुप पे भी अपने भी दोस्त लोग को बोल लो कि चलेगा। कल तो जल्दी होएगा, कल ट्रस्ट मी, कल तो फटाफट खत्म करेंगे हम लोग, डोंट वरी। कल तो बहुत मजा आने वाला है। सो प्लीज कम कल ऑल्सो, प्लीज कम एवरी डे 7 days, and also please don't leave the habit of data science. If you are interested, start working on projects after 7 days. हम लोग तुम लोग को लास्ट डे पे आइडियाज देंगे कि तुम अपने प्रोजेक्ट कैसे बना सकते हो, रेज्यूमे में डाल सकते हो, एंड इट विल बिकम वेरी फन फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू ऑल. So please stay with us for 1 week. It is going to be very fun.
वो CVS फाइल कैसे बनाते हैं?
CSV, right? हाँ, तू कोई भी एक्सेल ले ले. CSV का फुल फॉर्म इज कॉमा सेपरेटेड वैल्यूज. तो तू टेक्स्ट फाइल में भी कोई वर्ड्स लिखते जाएगा कॉमा से डाल के, तो दैट यू कैन सेव इट एज अ .csv. बट तू एक्सेल फाइल
मेरा
में
एक्सेल का अगर पूरा डेटा है तो उसको मेरे को CVS में करना है तो
तू जब फाइल उधर एक्सेल खोल, एक्सेल में वो एक्सेल मतलब माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एक्सेल में खोल वो फाइल को,
सेव एज में हो जाएगा.
हाँ, सेव एज में .csv होता है. एंड पैंडास में भी अगर तेरे को एक्सेल रीड करना है तो रीड अंडरस्कोर एक्सेल नाम की चीज भी होती है जिससे तू एक्सेल रीड कर सकता है. सो दैट्स नॉट एन इशू.
ठीक है, थैंक यू.
या आई होप तुम लोग को मजा आया आज. मतलब अगर आज मजा आया तो तुम लोग को डेटा साइंस में मजा आ रहा है, मैं ये सच बोल सकता हूँ. एंड हम लोग इसका भी रिसोर्सेज ऐड करेंगे. 2-3 सर्टिफिकेट कोर्सेज है, वो कर लो. इट विल हेल्प यू इन योर रेज्यूमे थोड़ा बहुत, बिकॉज यू कैन लाइक प्रूव कि तुम्हें पैंडास नमपाई आता है. पैंडास का है 4 hours का ही रहेगा वो कोर्स, कैगल पे है. विल टेल यू ऑल व्हाट कैगल इज आल्सो लेटर. तो दैट्स इट. आज तुम लोग रुके हो, थैंक यू सो मच. अभी मैं तंग नहीं कर रहा, जाके सो जाओ. कल भी कॉल नहीं. कल
कैगल का
कल
ऑलरेडी आइडिया उससे
बहुत
कर सकते
क्रिएटिविटी
हैं.
लगने वाला है.
हाँ, विद डाउट्स है तो एनीवन हु हैज डाउट्स कैन वेट. हम लोग है. Those who don't have doubts can leave. No worries. It's too late now. रॉकी आई गेस तेरे को डाउट था, पूछ ले वापस. सुना.
हाँ, वो वेक्टराइजेशन वाला मुझे थोड़ा लास्ट में समझा. वेक्टराइजेशन कैसे हुआ?
तो एक वेक्टराइजेशन क्या रहता है पता है? वेक्टराइजेशन में सुन सकता है ना? हाँ, ओके.
हाँ.
वेक्टराइजेशन में क्या रहता है, तू डायरेक्ट